Greetings, welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. And as always, we are looking for customers to visit our little bar. So if you're passionate about something, you want to talk about anything in science fiction or geek world, and you want to be on a podcast, please let us know because this bar is all about community. My name is Joel. I'm looking around. You may not recognize me if you've seen the YouTube because I had to shave my beard off for work. So I'm really, bald and clean shaven right now. But yeah, that's an awful sight. I look like Randall Graham, if you know who Randall Graham is. Author of Before Life. Drink. Okay. Yes. To carry on, I'm seeing my two dedicated staff members here. I see Carrie Simpson and Derek Beebe. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yay, I'm not alone. Excellent. Drink. Okay.
And for the record, Joel does still have eyebrows, so he's not completely hairless.
Thank you for that. You want to see my chest? No.
No, that's okay.
Only the best that podcasting has to offer. Yes, the SciFi Pubcast. You could see I'm the Ed Wood of podcasters out there. Yes.
What are you trying to say that we put out crap material?
Not crap. Iconic material on no budget. Okay.
And just as successful.
Yeah, we need some backers, some investors. Oh, well. And I need
as long as I don't have to convert, it'll be fine.
Yeah, be good. All right, Carrie, how's your day been? What's up with you?
Oh, not bad. I've recovering from the whole time change thing, and yeah, it's been nice so far. Yeah.
Yeah. More
still waking up. The caffeine's still kicking in.
Yeah. Happy International Women's Day, by the way.
Yeah. We were actually supposed to have an all women's class this morning, but I think 2 people couldn't make it, and my teacher said don't bother showing up. So I'm like, okay, fine, I can sleep in.
That's good. And Derek, how's things with you?
Pretty good. I saw the new Pixar movie Onward this morning. It was good. I wouldn't say it was like the best Pixar movie ever, but it was definitely worth seeing. Made me cry at the end. And it's unfortunate that it's not going to make so much money because of the coronavirus, but it is a good movie, and check it out when you are safe and able to see it.
Excellent.
Yeah, one of my coworkers said it was amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. See, I'm just kind of speechless right now because I didn't realize Derek can be so emotional, but good on him. I think emotions are important.
Wait, this is Derek. This is Derek being emotional. What?
He cried at the end of it. You said that.
It's called mirroring.
Oh. Okay. Right. Yeah. With me, I got really sick, guys, a couple weeks ago, and I'm just recovering now. It's been lingering, but just the common flu, no, not the COVID-19 virus out there. I hope. But yeah. So there's that. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back, man. I'm back. Yes, I'm still alive.
Well, I mean, for all we know, it's already got around. For all I know, it's already got around my office and my dojo. So, and most of us are fine. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's just really funny. I had to shave off my beard for work because just in case, I have to make sure my gas mask works. That's pretty funny. Okay, but it happens every year, so I'm sure it has nothing to do with this outbreak at all.
No.
Yes. What else
is that? Why you guys have dinner plates over your microphone so you don't get me sick?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's to stop the popping sound, so to speak. That's why you have these little screens over your mics. Yes, little known facts. We're all about podcasting and teaching others how to podcast. Not like us because we do it poorly. What else is there? Randall Graham. Yes, our friend Randall, the published novelist of Before Life, Drink, and tenured law professor at Western University, located in London, Ontario, Canada. Apparently, he survived the Star Trek cruise. Yes, he's posted on social media about disembarking in Miami. So he was in quarantine, which is interesting. And he had a great time.
He's not in a ship that's apparently getting brought into Oakland. So
yeah, different coast, thankfully. So,
but did he pass out copies of Before Life to all the to everyone on the ship?
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
we know?
I don't know. He's going to be back on the show shortly, and we are going to hear all about his Star Trek cruise because we always do that. He's our correspondent. He's our Star Trek cruise correspondent. This is his official title, one among many.
One of his official titles.
Absolutely. So, what else? Oh, yes, our beer recommendation because this is a bar, right? I know before
I never knew this was a bar.
I know it's amazing. So, like 2 days before I got sick, on a Friday night, I went out and I caught up with some friends of mine, and one thing led to another, and we did this impromptu pub crawl, and it got pretty messy. It got that messy where we actually went to one of my favorite bars, which is the Elgin Beer Project in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, on Elgin Street, hence the name. And we were drinking very expensive sour beer. That's like comes in almost like a wine bottle, and the brewery was called Small Pony Barrel Works. Guys, sour beer. It's like I don't know. It's equivalent like $35 US a bottle for a quart, and it's just wow. It's something different. It has a 5% alcohol by volume. It doesn't have a IBU rating. And to quote the website, I had the half remembered dream, because actually that's probably what led to my fever. But still, a half remembered dream. It states a blend of golden sour beers aged in oak barrels with rose hips and hibiscus.
Hibiscus?
I always mispronounce that word.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So some things you can't get around with a speech impediment. I get it.
I know. Thanks, I appreciate that.
I try.
If you go any of the specialty beer places and just try a sour beer, it's gonna be pricey, but it's different. Like I wouldn't want to drink it all the time, but for a bender towards the end of the night, yeah, it was quite special. And thanks, Brad, for paying for it. Okay, there you go. If Brad listens to this podcast, which maybe he says he does sometimes. One of my many friends in Ottawa. So, but we're here to talk about the worst film in all of the history of film. Perhaps. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We at the SciFi Pubcast has a soft spot in our hearts about bad movies. And what is as bad as Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space? It's an absolute classic film. Yes, guys, classic.
What the hell did you make us watch, Joel?
I know. The film came out in 1959, and people are still talking about it even today. Like us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cough like that. And that's not, I'm trying to get sick or anything like that. So the movie there was even a movie that paid homage to Ed Wood, the director. Interesting enough, it was called Ed Wood. Released in 1994 and was directed by Tim Burton. Yes, Tim Burton, I should say. It won 2 Academy Awards. So Hollywood was very self-aware of the whole Ed Wood thing. So let's talk about these films. And of course, the man himself, Ed Wood, a force unto himself. Guys, do you hate me because I made you watch this movie?
A little bit.
No, I'll forgive you.
I enjoyed watching Ed Wood again, but I did not enjoy watching Plan 9.
Oh man, I watched it 3 times now. Okay, and
I can say that I've watched it. So thank you, Joel. I think.
Well, it's a classic movie in the sense that people talk about all the time. It's 1959. It's the whole, a plot doesn't make much sense. The dialogue is just godforsaken awful. The story continuity is almost non-existent with major errors. There's props that you can see. There's guys wearing caps the wrong way. You can see tombstones tipping over because it's made out of paper. Oh, guys, what isn't there to love about this movie?
And there's Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, Bela Lugosi. His last film, he died in it, and he still finished the job with a stand-in, but still, yes. Guys,
the craziest thing to me was the airplane cockpit that was just like 2 guys in seats with like a fake door behind them, and it looked like they just had cardboard triangles in front of them as like the steering wheels. I was like, is that supposed to be the plane steering wheel? It's just like a triangle.
Oh God. Yeah. So, but suspend your disbelief. Just go with it. It just serves the story.
Yeah, as they said in Ed Wood, just go with it. It's all about the big picture. It's not about the little details.
I'm just shaking my head where to start because first thing, I like the music. The music is so iconic, and they don't know actually who composed it because it was just the whole buy off the music and use it in your cheap B-rate films back in the 50s. But dun, 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 definitely that should be re-released as its own album right there. And guys, so it's a short movie. It was like 80 minutes, so an hour and 20
That was the
minutes.
best thing about it.
It's currently available on Amazon Prime, in the color version, not the black and white version. So that's cool. So yes, you can actually be watching it right now instead of listening to us talk about it.
I am watching it right now, and I just got to the airplane cockpit scene. I can see the little triangle.
I gotta ask.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think my aside from the quality issues and stuff, I think I'm sitting there listening to the end, them discussing at the end of the movie how the aliens are afraid that the humans will turn light particles into something lethal, and I was like, this could be used by some crackpot as a way to keep solar power from being harnessed as a renewable energy source. I'm like, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, because if you use light and you explode light as a way to make a weapon, there's gonna be a chain reaction that will blow up all light in the known universe.
All life in the known universe.
So that, of course, has pissed off the.
That's not how this works.
No. Just go with it. Suspend your disbelief.
I know. I would love. I honestly, I would love to see, because apparently Neil deGrasse Tyson takes apart science fiction movies on occasion. I would love to see what his commentary on this movie would be.
God, yeah. Enough.
I think you'd have to take a year off of work to cover it.
Yes. There's a lot to be said about this movie. First thing, there's UFOs in it. Apparently, UFOs aren't real. We have no empirical evidence of that, but who knows?
Speak for yourself.
We have aliens, and as far as we know, they don't exist. At least we haven't found evidence of that yet. Yeah.
Oop.
Oh, yeah, and of course, Derek's pointing to himself on the YouTube. God.
I wasn't going to say it.
And of course, the major plot point in Plan 9 from Outer Space is the aliens, they really want to have humans to stop doing dangerous things, but the humans aren't listening to them, so they've decided to bring back the dead to scare them into submission.
Solid reasoning.
Yeah, so why else would you resurrect dead people?
Apparently with electrodes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's an interesting plot. You have to give it to Ed Wood. It's creative, especially given his 1959. And sure, it's a rip-off from The Day the Earth Stood Still that came out in 1951. But still, there's some uniqueness to this.
Sure.
I'm looking at the poster, the movie poster. It says, "Unspeakable horrors from outer space, paralyze the living, and resurrect the dead. Plan 9 from outer space." Oh, wow. Yeah. And guys want to start talking about the cast? Because some of these cast members are great. Like, this is old-time Hollywood. And so this is your neck of the woods, right, Carrie?
Yeah, and they're actually apparently most of the movie takes place in San Fernando, which is like less than 10 miles from me. I think I did catch one or two shots of the San Fernando mission, which was kind of cool.
Cool. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should arrange our own tours, right? The SciFi Pubcast San Fernando tours. See the building a Plan 9 from outer space. I don't know. Study a lot.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I try not to put too much thought into this because I don't think Ed Wood put too much thought into where everything was supposed to be located.
Yeah.
But I kind of sort of assume that the cemetery they were going for is the cemetery up at the mission.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, since that the main protagonist's house was like out in the middle of nowhere, where there really wasn't anything built up back in the 50s. Really, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange to see that many trees in the valley.
Well, maybe back in the 50s.
Well, I yes, there. It's strange to see those shots now and realize how many trees there were.
Yeah, it's just cool. I know Ed Wood used a lot of stock footage from previous movies or things he just had access to, like that scene where all the soldiers launching the rockets against the UFOs. That's just regular military stock footage.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wasn't that part of what they were talking about in the Ed Wood movies? Like he just used stock footage for stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was there.
Yeah.
And it had to be used somehow.
I think you need to see both of these films to appreciate it. I think you need to see Ed Wood from 1994,
yeah,
and then go and see Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Because I watched Ed Wood first, and it really helped me appreciate Plan 9 more, to give like more of the context of it.
Yeah, and you talk about 1994 Ed Wood. There's some really good actors in this, right? Bill Murray and all that. Well, I'm a big Bill Murray fan, but of course it's directed by Tim Burton. And let's see, the main cast who played Ed Wood is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's been around for a bit, right?
Oh yeah, sure,
sure. Something like that. And that's what
he's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's a young Johnny Depp. You think it came out in 1994? I just started university in 1994. It's been out for 26 years. Ooh, I'm old. But other actors that in the biopic Ed Wood from 1994, you have like Martin Landau, who won Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of Bela Lugosi.
Mm-hmm. It won Best Makeup that year for turning him into Bela Lugosi, which kind of annoyed me because it was up against Frankenstein.
Oh.
And Martin Landau still looks enough like Martin Landau that like that versus full body makeup for Frankenstein was like, really?
Yeah.
Really? And I mean, we all know what a big Tim Burton fan I am, but it's like, no, that wasn't a good Oscar win.
Are there any makeup awards for podcasting? Because I bet we could win one for Joel's transformation this episode.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, I was gonna ask you. I don't know what makeup. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not wearing any.
I love it. Be real. That's all I care about. So in the film, the 1994 film Ed Wood, we of course Johnny Depp, which we mentioned, but Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City person, Patricia Arquette, which is great, Jeffrey Jones, Lisa Marie, and Bill Murray. And
Vincent D'Onofrio was playing Orson Welles, which was amazing.
Oh yes.
Was that his actual voice? Because that sounded nothing like D'Onofrio.
No, it looked like they had dubbed him over.
Yeah, it looked dubbed and it sounded nothing like him. It didn't really. No,
it sounded like Orson Welles.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's good, like Orson Welles. And I'm going to get into the whole Orson Welles versus Ed Wood in a second. But going back to the Plan 9 from Outer Space, there's some cool actors. There's like Vampira. Unbelievable. Vampire. Like, so think of like Elvira, but it's like a generation before.
Yeah, apparently Vampira sued Elvira for copyright infringement and lost.
Yeah, and all that. It got really messy. But of course, Vampira stole her act from another person, but it's Hollywood, right? So
I had no idea that there was a precursor to Elvira. I was aware of her as like a little kid. I know she had a movie and she hosted like a TV show or something, but I didn't know that there was a pre-Elvira.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just trying. So her real name, her real Americanized name is um, Melia Nurma. She's Finnish American. So it's neat to see Finns doing like becoming famous because you don't really hear all that many Finns becoming famous American actors. And so yeah, it's very similar story to Elvira in terms of the local TV station and running movies. But she's I'm just trying to remember. She was influenced by I read this somewhere. Another actor from the 20s and 30s, very similar, like
Mm.
vampire. And of course, I'm not going to find the name right now, but there's that. Yeah, I like the whole ghoulish thing. Yeah,
Maybe it was the guy in Gremlins 2.
yeah, that must be. Let's go with that.
Sure.
Yeah. I like. Oh, we're talking about. There's a Swedish professional wrestler, Tor Johnson. That's
Hmm.
a big bald guy. Looks really mean. Apparently, they did a mask of his face later on in life and made a killing selling Halloween masks. Yeah, he's Tor Johnson was a big guy with a big heart. That's according to the IMDb entry for him.
Aw.
And which I really love, that in the 1994 Ed Wood movie, they cast George the Animal Steel to play Tor Johnson. I remember seeing George the Animal Steel, the professional wrestler, wrestle in Buffalo, New York, on like every month when I was like 10, 11 years old. It's amazing. Great tie-ins. I'm all for
Uh-huh.
that. Now, let's go back to the whole Orson Welles and Ed Wood. Guys, let me ask you this. What's the difference between these two men?
Orson Welles was successful.
Yes.
Coincidence and luck, nothing more.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, perhaps talent had a role to play. Pun intended. But
Oh, I know. Orson Welles was a voice of a Transformer, and Ed Wood was not.
Ed Wood died before the Transformers were made.
yeah.
Once again, coincidence and luck.
Or Ed Wood was never in the Muppets movie, also because he died before the Muppets movie was made.
Yeah. Ed Wood didn't do all that well in his life, actually. He turned into a raving alcoholic and died in, let's see, in his 50s, right? 54, I think. 56, something like that. Yeah, it's bad. So, what can you do? Whereas, Orson Welles was famous and lived a very full life. Yeah. So,
And got to act with Muppets.
yeah, which is definitely a plus. Definitely a plus. So I'm just looking at these two people, and Ed Wood, really admire Orson Welles because Orson Welles was successful.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about just saying, screw it, I'm going to be a filmmaker, and I don't care, I'm just going to do it.
I mean, isn't that what makes our podcast so awesome?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to some people,
I can relate that because Ed Wood was a punk for his day, right? This
Yeah.
Punk sense of honesty, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's just screw it. There's some stuff in his life that's kind of odd, and not to be judgmental enough, because that's not the purpose of this commentary at all. But he liked to dress up in women's clothing. That's
So did the head of the FBI at the time.
yeah. So it's if you read the about the man, apparently his mom wanted a daughter, but she got a son instead. So she just dressed up the son in girl clothing, and Ed Wood, was all over that. And later on in life, he very much went up in public dressed as a woman. And which is interesting too, because he actually liked having sex with women. He's been married twice, so he wasn't gay per se, according to what we read it online.
Well,
and the novel works about him. But
Eddie Izzard is straight, I think, and he dresses in women's clothing.
Yeah, I'm not a psychologist, but I think there's a lot going on there. I'm not passing judgment. I really don't care.
No, no, no,
I
no.
think
Of course not.
it just goes back to the sense that Ed Wood is his own man. Be who you are. It's kind of like when I see it, I see influences on things like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Don't dream it, be it. And,
Yeah.
And I think if you look at, say, the movie The Rocky Horror Picture Show, or the play, it was a play before that, I think you see aspects of Ed Wood and Plan 9 from Outer Space in it. So campy. I love that.
Right.
Only Rocky Horror was enjoyable.
Oh, I don't know. I love that movie, but yes. I know, like Ed Wood. Okay, he was in the United States Marine Corps during the Second World War. He was in from 42 to 46. He saw limited action. Okay, he came back and he was worried about the scariest thing was that he will be wounded in the Pacific, fighting the Japanese, and the medics will find him wearing women's lingerie. I can see how, given the time, the era, how that could be I don't know, awkward to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in many ways, I hate to say this, but Ed Wood was a very brave man for his time period. Good on him. And of course,
yeah, good for him.
Yeah, and you look at his film prowess, how he shot. I don't think he knew what he was doing. He just went for it, and that's good and bad, right? You need to have a balance of it. You need to say, I'm just going to produce art for art's sake, and I love doing this, and this is my life. Versus, I'm going to produce art, but I'm going to study this art form, so that I can produce better art that I could do, like if I didn't study it. So,
yeah,
interesting, and so many good things.
My favorite thing about either one of these movies, I enjoyed the Ed Wood movie. I saw it as a kid and I didn't remember it very well, but it's not really a subject matter I'd normally be crazy about, but I thought it was a very good presentation. And I really loved Johnny Depp's portrayal in it, how he was just like so cartoonishly enthusiastic about everything. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, that was, it was nice to see the portrayal of someone who's that passionate about what he's doing. It's like
yeah, and no matter what anybody said to him or said about him, he was just always very chipper and excited about everything.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, this is the portrayal in the movie, but I mean, he seemed generally enthusiastic about what he's doing. How many of us can say that?
It's just so positive and optimistic.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know any better, so he's naive in that sense. And I think in order to be great, sometimes you have to have that. You have to not know the odds you're facing. You just have to go for it.
And he really modulated his voice well to sound like it was a 1950s movie, because voices always sound so weird on movies back then. They kind of have this different pitch and timbre because of the recording apparatus. So he did that really well too. He didn't really feel or sound like Johnny Depp. I mean, obviously he is very different in all his roles, but this was a really good transformation.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you guys make of the amazing Criswell, the narrator?
That was so weird. Just the way he talked was very strange.
What a character.
Yeah, but what's his name who played him in Ed Wood was just the resemblance was uncanny.
Oh, I know. Oh, yes. This is a guy who made a living.
Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, made a living making predictions, which almost all of them have turned out to be wrong. But his stage presence was pretty amazing, right? He's an American Psyche, and just the opening speech and the opening monologue, I should say, and the closing monologue, which is both just amazing. Doesn't make much sense. It's kind of like between a psychic, a mystic, and a preacher all rolled into one.
Yes, he's like the great Karnak before there was a Karnak.
Yes, so I like it.
Yeah, it was great. Very interesting.
Yeah. Any other thoughts you guys think about this? Because to me, what's uh, what stands out to me is just Ed Wood's character, the fact that he just went for it. Of course, he died
Uh-huh.
poor, miserable, and an alcoholic. But besides that, hey,
But besides that,
yeah, besides that, he did pretty good.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Why was the old man and his wife dressed as vampires?
Because they were buried, right? So when you die, you generally die with your best clothing on. That's it.
And why was the old man's funeral held in the middle of the night?
The whole night thing for
why not?
Yeah, just go with it, man. Suspend your disbelief. It's art. There's a lot of things. How did the woman the vampire got from like the stage left to stage right in a cut shot? Yeah, don't overthink it. Just go with it.
And why did we only ever see 3 zombies produced? Was that just kind of like their test run or something?
Budget.
And why did they only do 3? And why was it those 3?
Budget, definitely. Budget.
I'm talking about in-universe logic.
See, that's the problem. And I think it's almost like the theater of the absurd. You need to approach it that way, right? Because it actually subverts the form.
Are you really looking for logic out of this movie, Derek?
Well, I like for things to have their own internal consistency.
I feel for you, Derek, because
this is Plan 9 from Outer Space we're talking about. They're talking about using sunlight to destroy all life in the universe. Logic does not factor.
Oh, and that reminds me, in the introduction, when the narrator says, "Grave robbers from outer space," and then it cuts to the credits and it says Plan 9 from Outer Space because they changed the title in post. Yeah. And they didn't bother to go back and like refilm him saying it differently.
Oh, God.
I figured that was what the story was, and then they just changed the title.
Yeah, they got pressured by their investors. If you see the movie Ed Wood from 1994, so they got a lot of money through the local Baptist church because they wanted to make a bunch of money so that they could do films about the 12 disciples. So they got talked into investing in Plan 9 from Outer Space, which was not called that at the time. And being religious types, they didn't think grave robbing was the proper or kosher, you could say. But even thinks there's the scene between the pilot, right? Jeff Trent's the character's name, and his wife Paula Trent. After the initial, like maybe 20 minutes into the movie, and so of course the pilot's concerned that his wife is going to be safe because they live right next to the graveyard, right? And they had this like 4 minutes dialogue interaction where the wife is saying, "Oh, I'm going to sleep with a pillow because that way I don't feel lonely." And I'm going that if you read the sexual innuendos in this, it's like, oh my God, you can actually interpret in that way. And from 1959, this is just hilarious. So
I will agree with you there.
Yeah, so the two actors, Gregory Walcott and Mana McKinnon, it's like I wasn't even expecting that double entrée to happen from a movie from 1959. Going, are they what? Oh my!
Okay.
I guess I have an innocent mind because that one flew right past me.
Yeah, go back and watch and yeah, and tweet about it. No, please don't.
No, don't.
Yeah. Okay, the Brown Derby. That's a restaurant that was seen in the 1994 film Ed Wood. It's a famous American restaurant. Is it still in Hollywood? Still there in Hollywood?
I don't know.
I know it's in Hollywood Studios in Disney World.
I know that too. That was going to be my next line. I know it survives in Disney World, right? But yeah, it's kind of like these old Hollywood establishments.
Fun bit of trivia. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It closed in the 1980s. Sorry.
Probably because Ronald Reagan, right? He was governor. Never mind. Go ahead, Derek.
I mean,
But
it's still kind of the structure is still kind of there. Maybe they built around it. They built something that looks like the Brown Derby, but it's in the middle of like a mini mall. I'm just looking up on like Wikipedia at the moment.
That sounds disturbing, but about right.
Mm-hmm.
fun bit of trivia: the Brown Derby in Hollywood Studios. That's where George Lucas and Bob Iger met to discuss him selling Star Wars to Disney.
Oh, really?
Ha.
Did they get free bread?
I hope so.
No, apparently that's what's happening right now in Disney World. They're stopping serving free bread in most restaurants.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it closed on April 3rd, 1985. Sorry, guys.
I was too young to drink there. Damn it.
So was I.
Yeah.
I was kind of amazed because for the 1994 movie, I was looking at that going, God, you wouldn't be able to get that shot of the Pantages these days.
Oh,
I mean, the Pantages is still there, but there's so much stuff built up around it. You'd have to like do a composite.
Oh wow.
Of the shot of the theater.
Yeah, I think we should do our own movie. Right? You know, get some UFO cutouts, get a model set up, set one of the UFOs on fire. We don't need a permit or anything like that.
Is that what you're doing when you come out here for Celebration, Joel?
Yeah, I'm not going to go to Star Wars Celebration at all. I'm just going to rent some studio space and pull like a overnighter. And why? Why not?
Sure, why not?
Sure. I booked my flight to Los Angeles, so hopefully the whole celebration doesn't get canceled. I think it's possible, probably unlikely, but in this day and age, who knows?
You know what? I am more concerned with the Aikido seminar I need to go to in June. If we're fine by then I'm not worried about Celebration.
Yeah, there you go.
But apparently
Celebration?
August.
End of August.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Disneyland is still open despite the outbreak. So
yeah, at least the ones in the States are the two in China and Tokyo's they're not. So.
Well,
yeah, I already booked a vacation in May to Disney World, and I don't know what's going to happen 2 months from now. We'll have to see.
Hey, on the bright side, at least the dead aren't coming back to life yet.
So far.
Yeah.
See, we don't know the power of what we do. We're not there yet as a species, right? We make all these weapons. We have the atomic bomb. We can blow up lights.
No, we really can't.
No. Okay. But great power comes great responsibility. Yeah,
that is true.
Ed Wood didn't say that, but that's kind of what he was going for, I think.
But I'm just sitting there watching it going, no, we want more people to use solar power for electricity, and this is totally going to turn off, maybe a portion of people. And, it's like
I don't see that.
I don't see it either, but
I think people who are susceptible to that would not be watching an Ed Wood movie. Okay.
You never know. People believe some weird shit these days.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Any last thoughts about the whole, Ed Wood and Plan 9 from outer space? Anything?
Juliet Landau, a.k.a. Drusilla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, had a small role in Ed Wood.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's also Martin Landau's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes nepotism is good.
I know.
And Juliet Landau is amazing.
I know, let's see, Plan 9 from Outer Space was mentioned in a Seinfeld episode. And also, it was seen in an X-Files episode. So, there you go. Yeah. I say that if you have nothing else to do, go out and watch it. Because why not? Put it in the background because it's interesting.
Sure.
And it's about, it's about Hollywood. It's about filmmaking. And again, I just like the whole punk rock sense of honesty.
Yeah.
The gumption. And yeah, I like the gumption of Ed Wood. That's where I think it's at. Okay, guys, what else? In other topics, guess what I've done? I've started actually reading Dune. Yes, Dune, the novel.
In preparation for the movie?
Yes, which is coming out this fall, okay? The
Yay.
Denis Villeneuve version of it. Because, of course, I saw Dune as a kid, the David Lynch version, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, guilty pleasures. And I watch this movie religiously every month or so. I actually haven't read the book.
You've never read it?
I haven't read it. At least
Oh, wow.
I might have read it as a kid. I just don't remember reading it, right? So reading.
I've read all 6 of the original Dune books.
And there's, I think, 4 new ones out, right? So it's like 10.
There are lots of new ones.
Oh, there's a lot of new ones.
Yeah.
Remember about a year ago we did a Dune for the show, and I read the prequel novels for it?
Yeah. So I can't believe I'm actually having time now to actually read books. So let's see how long this lasts.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Yeah, I read the first one over and over again as a kid. The sequel's not so much, but the first one I remember reading a lot.
I had to stop after the 4th one for a while because my brain kind of imploded, and I needed to read something not quite as heady. But I did eventually get around to reading the last 2 of Herbert's original novels. Yeah. I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have the ones Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson did somewhere.
If you want to put your brain on ice for a bit, I recommend watching an Ed Wood movie or 2.
I don't need to lose that many more brain cells.
Okay, fair enough. All right, guys, let's wrap the show up. It's been great. We'll be closing our doors. This show is released as a podcast primarily, and then it is uploaded to YouTube a day or 2 afterwards, so you can see our pretty faces, especially, well, not mine, because I'm pretty much an ugly face. But there's that. The podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Google Play and probably a bunch of other podcasting servers. Check out our Discord server. Sometimes it's active, sometimes it's not. We always send invites out on our social media. It's a great location, a source of news and commentary, and just to interact with other people in the bar.
Yeah.
And our social media. Yes, we are on Twitter. We're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook. I do the Twitter, Instagram, and Derek, you do the Facebook. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Keep it up, man. I appreciate it. Our information, if you want to message us, you can do our social media, or you can send us an email. Yes, I remember when email was a new thing. Now it's really old-fashioned, isn't it? But our email address is management@scifipubcast.space. Please leave a positive review at wherever you get this podcast. It helps others find the show and help us grow our little community. Carrie, what's your Twitter address?
My Twitter handle is Carrie Blackfire42. That's KERI Blackfire42.
And Derek, what's yours?
I am at Derek J. Beebe.
And I'm at Ed _ no, that's not. I'm at Joel _ Welch. Yes, that's right. Ed Wood. You know, I think the world would be a better place if there were more Ed Woods out there. And I'm not being funny. I think that's such a good thing. I think you need to follow your passion in life and screw it. And you can make money off of it, even better. But yeah, there's something about the give a fuck factor, right? Just don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, closing time. Please take care and make it home safe. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Jea Rhea. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly, and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.